I did. I really did.
Yes.
Parts of it make me just go, oh, was that really necessary? Which I do anyway for Quentin Tarantino movies.
Yep.
Because I'm not as gory as everyone else seems to be. That
as
I know.
me.
As you, yes.
Yes.
But I appreciate the way he writes and directs and has these films working. Like I said, I love the way suddenly the two totally different areas, like your Inglorious Bastards and Shoshana, suddenly intermesh and join up.
For people who have not seen this film, and I can't imagine there'd be many.
It'd be because of the gory stuff, I reckon.
Well, perhaps people avoid it because it's a Tarantino film. But if you have... You see, I just assume that most people who are into movies would have seen this film because it's such a strong film and it's such a, iconic Tarantino film.
Yeah, but parts of it can be quite gory. You've just got to get... If you get over that part and realise it's part of the storyline, it's painting a picture of these characters and what they're actually out to do and what they feel is right for them, and it really gives you an idea of how they're feeling. I think it actually helps the movie.
I guess what I was trying to clumsily lead up to was the fact that I think not only is there suspense in this, not only is there gore in this, brutality, lots of brutality. These guys are bastards. They're not it's not badly titled. They're a pack of bastards, a whole lot of them, everybody in it. But what it is there is this underlying gallows humour that goes all the way through it, which is fantastic. I think it's
the black comedy sort of thing.
Very good comedy in its own right, without anything else. But that's why it's such a strong contender, because it comes in with so many wings. It's not a comedy, it's not an action, it's not a suspense. But you could easily argue that it's all three of those, all at the same time. And if you didn't like the other two, it still comes across the line as a strong comedy / suspense / do you know what I mean?
No, I get it.
Yeah, whatever you come into a movie, whatever you like in
it ticks
whatever movie.
It ticks a lot of boxes.
Yes, whatever you like in a movie, you can go and see this and know that what you like in a movie is going to be in that film because it's got everything in it. It really does. It's just, it comes with, multiple bats swinging. So,
but it's not done, just... I'll just put this in because it will look good. It's done to strengthen either a character or a storyline or something.
Right.
So.
Yep. I completely agree. Okay, well...
Wait. Before you go on for your scoring, I was surprised you didn't bring this up because you're the one that went, ooh, Pip, make sure you listen to this before you watch this. So Paul said to me, ooh, Pip, I've been listening to...
I believe it was a little bit more dignified than that.
Oh, Pip. Or I reckon you should listen to this podcast.
I think that's a closer approximation, yes.
So Paul said to me, Pip, you should listen to this podcast by the Behind the Bastards.
Yes.
On the Nazis and Hollywood.
Yes.
And so I went, oh, really? I could just watch the film now. And he goes, no. Listen to parts 1 and 2 before you watch this film. And I went, oh, fine.
Now, we've talked about the podcast Behind the Bastards before.
Yeah.
But I recommend it. I don't know how have you enjoyed what you've listened to so far?
I have. It's been really interesting. But what I found was listening to these two podcasts, particularly these two, before watching this film, even though I've seen this film before. Yep. Even though I've seen Inglorious Bastards before, and then I listened to this podcast that had the Nazis and their influence on Hollywood.
What did you take away from it?
I got something totally different from watching the film the second time.
Right. So you'd recommend doing that as well?
I reckon you just get something totally different out of it. So you go, oh, actually, that is an interesting part there. So it's not huge, but it's a little something, and it just makes those little parts there a bit more interesting, like the cinema parts.
Texture.
Yeah.
Yep.
So where, for instance, Death of Stalin, you made me read up. No, let me finish. Don't interrupt.
Oh.
You made me read that stuff,
yes,
and it actually made the movie worse. Where
God,
where listening to this podcast actually made Inglorious Bastards better for me. How does that sound?
Terrible. But go on.
So I suggest if you're going to watch this movie, if you've got time and
I'm
going to
put a ban on you bringing up Death of Stalin.
No, I'm just using it as an example. So I think you should listen to the Nazis' influence on... I don't even remember exactly what the episode's called, but it's a Nazis' influence on Hollywood by Behind the Bastards before you watch Inglorious Bastards.
Yes. Even if you've seen Inglorious Bastards...
You'll get something completely out of it, different out of it.
Go listen, come back and watch it. And look, again, you could also do it with Casablanca and any of those mid-war films that actually came out in the 1940s because...
Oh, yeah, but I found it particularly for this one because it had all that cinema stuff.
It also
happening.
mentioned The Great Dictator as well, didn't it? Charlie Chaplin's Great Dictator, 1941.
Yes, it did.
Yes. And
at the end, because he was trying to get that out beforehand, everyone was rushing him.
And we're going to have a look at that for our classic very shortly. So that'll be... I'm looking forward to that because I kind of wanted to put that up. But after listening to that, you just find out what such a stand-up guy Charlie Chaplin was.
And he was the only one. That's what I mean. That was interesting, but I won't ruin it for people.
Pip,
I think they should listen to it.
I do believe we're distracting ourselves, though.
So I just wanted people to have that extra bit of info because I thought it was interesting.
Yes. So go listen to it. Come back, watch Inglorious Bastards, laugh your ass off.
So how many stars for Inglorious Bastards?
Well, it can't be under 8. It can't. I'm sorry. It's just such a thoroughly enjoyable film.
It can be anything you want, Paul.
Oh, it really is. Can I just, before I dive into my star rating, did you find anything annoying about it? Was there anything that you can bring up that we could hold against it and go, well, I don't like that?
Mine's a very personal one.
Mine was a block of wood, so...
Oh, yeah, I guess so. This is going to be so terrible.
Yes.
The two things was some of the gore I found a bit hardcore, but that's just me.
I loved when he was sticking the finger in her bullet wound. That was fantastic.
Yeah, anyway,
that's great.
That's not really my thing, but I understand it makes the storyline, so I can deal with that.
Yep.
The other thing was Brad Pitt's accent was a bit too weirdo for me.
But you know Brad Pitt to be the consummate actor. I'm sure.
He's great. But
I'm sure he has that is the accent of some region in America.
Oh no, I'm sure it's perfect.
Yep.
But
is it Tennessee? I think
that's where he said he was from.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, if that's what, look, I'm happy to believe that if he sounded like that, that's what people from Tennessee sound like. So shout out to people in Tennessee.
Oh no.
Go on.
Hi everyone, Tennessee.
Please go on with what you were saying about how terrible it sounded.
No, it wasn't. It just Brad Pitt's rendition of it was a bit unusual for me.
Well, have you talked to other people from Tennessee?
No. So I don't know.
Yes, that's correct.
I don't know.
Yes.
Maybe it's just Brad Pitt's face and that accent. I have no idea.
Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, look, I'm prepared to give him the benefit of the doubt.
But
I'm not a.
No. His character was good and everything, but there's some times when he was talking that it just irritated me.
I'm not a professional linguist. I'm not a smart linguist. I'm not even a cunning linguist.
You asked me what I found irritating.
She didn't get that. That's good. Keep going.
You asked me what I found irritating, so I've told you. So there you go.
Okay.
If you're gonna niggle, you won't get it anymore.
All right. Okay. No. And look, I take that on. And yes, Pip does not like the Tennessee accent.
Oh, that's not fair.
And you find it annoying?
Oh, that's it. Right. No, I just particular Brad Pitt's accent. I just found a bit weird.
I must say, the very first time I listened to him, I have to come to your defence here. I found it quite grating. But as I get older, and it was 2009, and I am considerably older because that was 10 years ago now, I'm willing to admit that I don't know everything. And it's entirely possible that it could be a small 50-mile radius where it's a particular accent that they all talk like that. He probably went to some village somewhere and, got local with them.
Well, supposedly he was living up in the mountains somewhere.
Did he actually go?
He actually told people where.
There you go.
In the film, his character was actually telling people where he was from. Mm. So, yeah, but I don't know. There's just something about his accent was a bit weird for me. But anyway, that's my only thing.
Pip, we're Australians, so
I'm sure our accents annoy everybody.
We can't throw rocks in a glass house,
I'm sure our accents are irritating as.
I'm sure there's many American guys, dude.
Anyway, stars, go, Paul.
Well, at least we're not Scottish, but anyway.
Don't bag out Scottish people.
I'm not bagging them out, but theirs is the strongest accent on the planet. You know it is.
Depends where you're standing at the time.
Well, preferably about 15 feet back, because they're usually yelling.
Anyway, star rating, Paul.
Sorry. Okay. Hi, everyone in Scotland. Love you. Can I go a 9?
You can go a 9.
I'm so 9.5. Fuck it. Yeah, no, fuck it.
Okay, so a 9.5 from Paul.
I love the film. I love it. And I can't come up with a single goddamn thing that it does badly. The block of wood doesn't give it a 10. Because that annoyed the shit out of me. I'm sorry.
And you're bagging me out over what I was annoyed about. Jeez.
I didn't say I was logical. I just said it really annoyed me. So
I'll give it an 8.
You'll give it an 8, and I'm giving it a 9.5.
Yeah.
Do you know, I've noticed that I've become more generous with films than you have. You've actually...
I think mine are more consistent.
No, well, I know you think that. Yep.
But anyway, so that's good. So 9.5 from you and 8 from me for Inglorious Bastards.
Okay. All right. Well, let's wrap that up. That was good. Sorry if you got more.
No, that's me done.
You're done on that?
Yep, I'm done on that particular movie.
All right. Well, now, in some sort of recompense for last week's, well, I don't know, 7 minute.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that was quite long.
It was very long.
Nobody complained, but I think people just went, oh, Jesus, Paul.
They probably just fast forwarded.
I'm going to put something on that's a little bit more dramatic and a little bit more... I think most people will remember this scene if they've watched Good Will Hunting, when he has the breakthrough and the great man himself loses it with Matt Damon.
Are you talking about Robin Williams and Matt Damon?
Yes, I'm talking about Robin Williams. He is the great man, probably the greatest comic of the 20th century. A huge human being, a magnificent human being. He's one of my favourite people of all time. Yep, him and I can't remember her name.
Obviously, we're talking about Catherine Hepburn.
Thank you for saving me.
I wouldn't leave you. Yep. It's all good. So you're going to play that particular scene for people to listen to?
Yes, I believe so.
For your magic movie moment.
Okay, so rightio kids, here we go, and I'll put you over to it. See you then.
What's this? Good taster's choice moment between guys?
This is really nice. You got a thing for swans? Is this like a fetish? It's something like maybe we need to devote some time to?
Thought about what you said to me the other day about my painting. Stayed up half the night thinking about it. Something occurred to me. I fell into a deep, peaceful sleep and haven't thought about you since. You know what occurred to me?
No.
You're just a kid. You don't have the faintest idea what you're talking about.
Why, thank you.
It's all right. You've never been out of Boston.
Nope.
So if I asked you about art, you'd probably give me the skinny on every art book ever written. Michelangelo. You know a lot about him. Life's work, political aspirations, him and the Pope, sexual orientation, the whole works, right? I bet you can't tell me what it smells like in the Sistine Chapel. You've never actually stood there and looked up at that beautiful ceiling. Seen that. If I ask you about women, you'd probably give me a syllabus of your personal favorites. You may have even been laid a few times. But you can't tell me what it feels like to wake up next to a woman and feel truly happy. You're a tough kid. I ask you about war, you'd probably throw Shakespeare at me, right? Once more into the breach, dear friends. But you've never been near one. You've never held your best friend's head in your lap and watch him gasp his last breath looking to you for help. When I ask you about love, you probably quote me a sonnet. But you've never looked at a woman and been totally vulnerable. Known someone that could level you with her eyes.